Hello, Rhys's Pieces. I'm here at Pompey's Pillar, one of the remnants left here in Alexandria. So we're gonna go and check out the ruins. Let's go! Many of the original pillars are still kept here and slowly getting weathered by the environment. There's a pillar with Egyptian hieroglyphs. It wraps all the way around here. Here we see a topper for one of the columns that has now been moved here. The original may have broken off. Which features a cross on the front. And as we can see over here, they have other column toppers that have fallen. Here we have a couple of sphinxes that are missing their heads, unfortunately. But the stone here is just of amazing, beautiful quality. The detail on it, how smooth it is. It's just been really well smoothed and just gorgeous. And this one we have still some hieroglyphic writing here along the bottom, though it seems to have weathered more damage than the previous one. This one has weathered even more damage. But not any less beautiful. Some details of the sculpture of red granite have since crumbled. Amazing standing here and touching history, touching pillars and sculptures that people from thousands of years ago touched. On the grounds where thousands of years ago people walked. Alright, my pieces, this is exciting. This is the lower sanctuary in the ruins of the Pompey Pillar. They actually let us go into them, which is really cool. Where there was a library, a small library here. And this was a courtyard where there was water. So let's go into the small library first. The smell is very musty, as you can imagine, where the sun doesn't really reach and there's humidity. Unfortunately, there's not very much light, and I wouldn't want to turn it on in case... Well, actually, let's see if we can get more light. There we go. See a little alcove here. Unfortunately, some of the digging here seems to have stopped, whether from lack of funds or if they did a scan and no longer have anything to find. Well, this is interesting here. You can actually see beads of moisture. All those little reflections is all beads of moisture that's collecting on the walls, but isn't soaking in, just creating beads. We have actually 4 tunnels here. This tunnel seems to have stopped, it's no longer dug in. And then down here it continues down further, which we'll check out in a few minutes. More alcoves. You see they're using dehumidifiers to try and remove some of the moisture that's found in here. Because, as I said, it's quite humid and quite musty. More alcoves. Or actually, as they said, it was a small library, so it's possible that at one point this was all scrolls or we're coming to the end here. This is something that was being used to dig, perhaps, but has been left behind. As you can see, none of the walls contain any writing, which may be because they've been removed and sent to museums. So now we'll move into the lower area, down the stairs, and see what we can find there. So now we're heading down further. You can see the steps here actually have, once you remove the sand, they actually have veining in the stone.
They could have built that also for tourists.
As we move down further, we start seeing more texture to the walls, as well as some more alcoves. And the ceiling is just pitted with all of this texture of the style of the rock that we saw outside. Some more alcoves here. You can see my shadow. Apparently it's preceding me. It likes to walk ahead of me. Now the passage that we're in is actually starting to get smaller. We're at about 6 feet right now, maybe a little bit more than 6 feet. And it continues going up with all of these alcoves. Ooh. At this point, it's completely dark. There are no lights here, which I assume means that they probably want us to stop here. However, I would like to keep going, and so I'm going to. So we're going down further. The ceiling has gotten to about 5 feet, maybe 5'9". The walls here are similar in texture and quality as up above. And here we get to the end, at least of the excavated area. And there you go. This is the end of the downstairs portion. Alright, we are back upstairs. A little more wet and a little more tired. And now we're going to move into the sanctuary itself. Again, so cool that they actually let us go and look in these places. Here we see some alcoves that are actually built deeper in and have a different shape. These are rectangular, while the other ones in the small library were more of an L shape. So these may have contained idols or other artifacts. And here near to the end of the sanctuary, we see a copy of the Apis bull. Still a beautiful piece that's been, lovingly recreated by the artist. So there's the end of the inside portion here. Now we're going to move back outside and walk among the ruins and see what else we can find. Walking among the outside ruins. So it looks like most of the pillar tops have been removed and brought to the front. However, this one here has been left behind. Now we're continuing upwards. and have emerged actually near to the pillar itself. And there's my dad, following along. So this is interesting. Along the grounds here, where obviously some kind of building was, there's not really a whole lot to see other than the rocks that, you know, formed this area. Except in this one little area where you can see dozens and dozens of snail shells. The snail shells do not appear anywhere else that I've seen on the grounds, except for this little area. The entrance, or at least what would have been the southern entrance to the pillar, are two giant, beautiful sphinxes that guard the entrance. I'm not sure if these are possibly reproductions or if they've just weathered the time extremely well. But as you can see, there's very little damage. Just damage to parts of the ear, parts of the cowl, and the ankh on the forehead. And a little bit to the paws, but otherwise it's in beautiful shape. And its twin seems to have suffered mostly the same amount of damage. But if we come over here, we can turn around and see what it would have been like to approach Pompey's pillar in ancient times. Just amazing and intimidating, the scale to walk up this area towards this monument. Amazing. Here we see some of the ventilation shafts that were dug in for the underground library that have since closed, or at least partially closed. Now we are moving up to the pillar itself, which from a distance away doesn't really appear that big. However, as you get closer, you get to see just how monstrously huge, monumental this thing is. You can see some of the people posing at the bottom and just how small they are in comparison to the pillars. It's just amazing.
Take a picture of me, I'll take a picture of you.
So it looks like, from my foot measurements, my feet are 13 inches and one side of this column measures about 14 of my feet, which gives you kind of an idea just how big this is. And you see here that they're still working on it, making it safer and replacing some of the old boards so that visitors can make their way up here and safely. And here, according to the sign, here we see a pool. Or as they call it on the sign, the piscina. Hey guys, this is actually really cool and really interesting. So right here at the bottom of the pillar, massive, gigantic, beautiful pillar, there's a small hole. And when we go and look inside, we can see that there's actually writing on this wall. Which unfortunately is a little damaged, and my hieroglyphic is more than a little rusty, so I can't make out what it actually says. But if one of my friends might be able to see or understand what it says, please leave a comment and tell me what it says. Going to end my tour of Pompey's Pillar here in Alexandria. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know what you thought, and if there's anything in Alexandria you'd like me to go and see next, just let me know and I will try to make my way there to videotape it for you guys. Alright, I hope you enjoyed it. Love you all to pieces.